Alright, movie mythologies. Movies are the new mythologies. Prior to them, we had plays such as Shakespeare. If you look at any of those plays, they use multiple characters really to represent different aspects of your body. A cartoon you can get is like Osmosis Jones. It had a whole bunch of different characters. The main character being Osmosis Jones. It was just basically talking about your chemical process inside your body. That's the way stories are told to us in an allegorical form. They basically use inanimate or what's the word I'm looking for? They basically use personification. They make things seem to have human qualities to tell the story, to get you to get a lesson out of it. So that's what these movies and plays. Prior to plays, we had allegories in the form of fairy tales or religious texts. And in the beginning, everything was more oral. Everything was orally given to everyone, like in the form of ghost stories and rituals. Most, if not all, movies use the Kabbalah tree of life as its blueprint. You need to view my video on the Kabbalah 101. You'll see how George Lucas used this blueprint to make Star Wars. I pointed out how Thoth, or knowledge, is where he got Darth Vader from, and Into the Dark Side. This is another tree behind here. This is Luke Skywalker. Skywalker is the sun. That represents the sun. The Sith or the demons on the dark side are actually Set or Satan, so on and so forth. So if you're not familiar with the Kabbalah Tree of Life, you might want to watch that video first, and then you'll get an introduction on how movies are made off of this blueprint. Alright, so theology is the study of God. So the word mythology to me means my theology. Because to me, ye are all gods and goddesses, children of the Most High, the source. So mythology is really just another word of saying the study of you, not myth. Myth has such a negative connotation to it. So the stigma is myth means false or not true. So so what they try to do is make it like all our mythologies, all our stories are mythologies, and the Bible, which is just another allegory. It's the same stories. All these movies, all these fairy tales, all the stories in the Bible, even Egyptian stories are the same. It's going to be some Christ figure, and you're going to see, because now we're going to discuss the Inception movie. So always going to be a Christ figure. It's going to be some type of redeemer. It's going to be some type of bad guy or Satan, something like that. So the easiest way to decode these allegories, say for instance, if you want to go to the biblical allegory, since we're talking about the Bible, Jesus representing the sun, the S-U-N of man, that makes the 12 disciples the zodiac. The easiest way to decode these allegories is to decipher their name. So for instance, if you look at one of the disciples' name is Thomas. If you look up the name Thomas, you're going to see it means twin. His other name was Didymus, also means twin. So why they call him twin, that's another story. But you can easily decipher that he's the Gemini of that zodiac, or those disciples. Another one can be Philip. If you look up the name Philip, it means the lover of horses. So a horse lover. So you know, which zodiac is always on a horse? Sagittarius. It's a man on a horse. Alright, so you can look up the other 10 on your own. But I just want to use that as an example, because that's the same thing you can do for this story. So we're going to discuss Inception, the movie. The first main character name is Dominic, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Dominic, the name Dominic means Lord. If you're not familiar with the Tetragrammaton, this is supposed to be Yod He Va He. This later on became Yahweh because they didn't want to pronounce this. So what they did, they added the vowel points from the word Adonai, or in Greek it's called Adonis, which means Lord. So it may be confusing, but if you look it up, you'll see in order to get Jehovah or Yahweh, they basically didn't want to pronounce these 4 letters, so they mixed in this name with a Lord. So in the Bible, you never see this name. You're gonna see Lord. Lord. So that's really basically what I'm trying to get you at is that's going to be Dominic's character. Another main character is named Mr. Sato. He's gonna be Satan or Saturn. So remember, Saturn dwells in this third Sephirah, and the Saturn energy is down on Earth. So you got to look at the Kabbalah 101 to understand that a little bit more, and I'll explain it in another video also. So another character is Dominic's wife, or the Lord's wife, is named Mal. It may be short for Mallory, but they never quite called her Mallory. Reason why I did that on purpose, so that you can know this is a Kabbalah story. The last Sephirah, on the 10th one, is called Malkuth. it's called English. In English, it's called kingdom, but really it's a feminine sephira because it's actually a mirror image of the female Bina, which is understanding. So Malkuth is actually Mal, his wife. Remember, they were stuck down here for 50 years. The movie starts off about him being charged with murder. He can't see his children. Dominic, the Lord can't see his children anymore, and his two children are with his father-in-law, which is Mal's father. So Mal and him created this world where they would age for like 50 years. They went up, and she thought that world, she was down there so long that when they went up to a higher level and they noticed not even 3 hours had passed, she thought she was still dreaming. She was so in love with this physical world that she wanted to go back. So she said, I'm dreaming, I'm going to kill myself. She tried to persuade the Lord to kill himself, or Dominic to kill himself also. He wouldn't. So what she did was framed him and jumped out the window and made it look like he killed her. So he was on a run, so he couldn't go back and see. He had to flee the United States. Just look at the plot. You can go on Wikipedia, type in Inception and film, and it'll give you the plot, the names of the characters, and then you can follow along with this video. So Mal, Sato, and Dominic. So we got those three out the way. Now the story, what Sato wants the Lord to do is implant an idea in the subconscious of this guy named Robert Fisher Jr. Robert Fisher Sr. is dying. You're going to notice that most all these mythologies are always going to have a dead father, or like Osiris, or somebody in the underworld, or somebody who's in heaven, like our father, like Jesus' father was in heaven, but he had a earthly father, which was Joseph, just like the Superman story. He had a father back in his planet, and then on Earth he had his Kevin Costner in the new Superman movie adopted him or whatever have you. So what's happening is it's always going to be a father that's dying or dead. So notice the last name is Fisher. So he's playing the Christ figure, or a fisherman, the fisher of men. So the same Jesus character. So he's going to be the Jesus character. What Mr. Sato, what Satan wants the Lord to plant an idea in Christ's head to ignore the will of his father and become his own man. So just watch the plot. That's what it's all about. The whole movie is about the Fisher Senior. Robert Fisher is an energy is Satan's competitor. He has an energy company. He's Satan's biggest competitor. Jesus' father is. So he wants Jesus to ignore the will of his father because he's trying to X out his competition. So this whole movie is about taking over this energy, being the king of energy. Same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars was all about the light and winning with the lightsaber. That's your energy. So when I make the videos on magic and what these videos are really all leading up to, you're going to understand light and energy and why it's so important. Alright, so another character, and keep in mind, like, remember I said his father-in-law had the two children. So this is where they up here. He can't see his children because he can't get past this abyss. So up here's where his children are, and this is where the school of architects are. So architects make their own universe. So you know we're gods and goddesses. So we make our own world, and we come down here on purpose. The problem is we get down here and we forget, and we get stuck on our ego or our humanity. So it's a school up here which was taught by his father-in-law. The Lord could no longer make this because he was stuck down here, and he was stuck on his wife and memories of his wife. So he had to get a student from his father-in-law's school. Her name was Ariana or something like that. If you decode her name means the most holy one. She was good at making labyrinths. A labyrinth is another word for your brain. So it's basically changing your brain, your physical brain. So based on the character in the Greek mythology, that helped this guy named Theseus defeat the Minotaur, and just look up her name. She helped him defeat the Minotaur and get out the labyrinth by giving him some string. A labyrinth, whenever you see a word labyrinth in a movie, it's talking about the brain, all of the lines, a maze in your brain. So her name means most holy one. So he needed the most holy one. The Lord needed the most holy one to assist him as an architect to build this, to trick the Jesus figure. Now I know it sounds bad, or you're going against the will of the Father and all that, but basically this is what we really need to learn about ourselves. You're going to have to learn that you have to be your own man and stop worshiping. You are really a God in yourself. You came from the same source as every other energy. Everything is energy. This is just energy vibrating so slow that it becomes hard and materialized down here. But we really are energy from the same source. We're basically a part of the one mind, the one God, the one every, whatever you want to call it. So that's what this whole movie is really trying to tell you. Um, to reconsider your father's will and become your own man. But throughout the movie, based on towards the end of the movie, what happened was actually that Jesus and Satan actually got caught in what they call limbo in the movie. So that can be termed as the abyss. They fell into this dark world, and when they were stuck, and remember the Lord had to go back in there and get them. So he had to face what he had did wrong by being stuck on Mal, and he had to go in there. And finally, he let go of his ego, and that's how he was released. So more. Let me see. Is there anything more? Oh, another character was the chemist, the guy who administered the drugs to put you deep into sleep. That's a representation of alchemy. If you want to study alchemy, chem is the word. They turned the Greek word into Egypt, but chem means black land. So that's where you get the word chemistry and alchemy. So alchemy is another process that you use to free your soul and get back to where you started. So he represented alchemy. I told you about the Father on earth. So Jesus' figure also had a godfather who played the role as father since his father was dying, played by Tom Berenger. And I think that's it. So yeah. So in the end, the movie ends with him successfully getting Satan and the Jesus figure out of limbo, supposedly, and he was able. Satan went on a reward him and let him go and see his family. So it ended with him going to an airport. Whenever you're dealing with an airport, you're dealing with a different. You're dealing with airplanes, so you're on different planes. So these are 4 different planes. So he's basically trying to go to another plane, which is the highest plane. And they always use Los Angeles. Whenever you see Los Angeles in the movies, they always gonna use that as Los Angeles because it means Los Angels. So he was a lost angel, a fallen angel. So they ended up in the Los Angeles airport where he was able to see his two children again, and the movie ended right there. They didn't want to. They basically don't know. He doesn't know if he was still dreaming or not. If he was stuck in the dream world, or if it was back in the real world with his real children. So the movie ended. So that's why they used it, the Los Angeles airport. So whenever you see airplanes or something in the movie, it's usually talking about different planes, or physical, like a physical plane, formative plane, different worlds, if you will. All right. So that's the movie Inception and the mythology behind it. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, make sure you try to check out my other video, Kabbalah 101, and any of my future videos on other movies. Thank you.